Every day you wake up with two choices: repeat yesterday or reshape tomorrow. And the difference lies in your habits. Now, I'm not talking about changing your whole life overnight. I'm talking about the small daily choices that build unstoppable women. Choices that seem simple but carry serious strength. Today, I'm sharing 10 daily habits every woman should practice, because these habits don't just change your routine, they transform your results. You ever notice how chaotic mornings can feel? You wake up and you're already 10 steps behind. The phone's buzzing, your mind's racing, and before you even get a chance to breathe, the day takes over. It's like waking up in the middle of an emergency. No plan, just reacting. And the truth is, if you don't take charge of your morning will take charge of you. Now, I'm not saying you need to become someone who wakes up at 5 a.m. overnight. This isn't about perfection, it's about preparation. Because how you begin your day is how you'll carry yourself through it. When you roll out of bed and instantly dive into someone else's world, messages, emails, social media, you're teaching your brain that you're not in control. You're reacting, not leading. And that's a dangerous habit to get used to. So what does it mean to truly own your morning? It means claiming the first part of your day for yourself before the world starts making demands. And this doesn't mean an hour of silence and green juice, unless that's what you enjoy. It can be as simple as not checking your phone for the first 15 minutes, taking 3 deep breaths before you get up, saying something kind to yourself out loud, even if it feels weird. It could be opening your journal and writing one simple line: here's what I need today. It's about choosing calm before chaos, because women especially are often trained to go straight into care mode the moment they wake up. Kids, partners, work, responsibilities. We give from a cup we haven't even filled yet, and then wonder why we're exhausted, irritated, or running on empty by noon. You can't pour from a cup you haven't filled. That's why reclaiming your mornings is so important. Let me be clear. This isn't about adding more to your list. It's about starting with something solid, and what grounds you might not be the same thing that grounds me. Maybe it's prayer. Maybe it's stretching. Maybe it's saying a positive affirmation until it starts to feel real. Maybe it's doing nothing at all for 5 minutes. Whatever it is, the key is being intentional, not reactive. Because here's a secret people don't talk about. Your energy doesn't come from caffeine. It comes from clarity, and clarity comes from stillness. It comes from creating just enough space in your morning to ask yourself, what matters most today? Not just what do I have to do, but who do I want to be while I do it? That question changes everything. When you take charge of your morning, you walk through your day differently, more grounded, more focused. Other people's moods don't throw you off as easily, because you've already chosen your energy. You respond instead of react. You feel more ready, even if your to-do list is exactly the same, because you are different. And on the days things don't go smoothly, because life happens, you don't attack yourself. You just try again tomorrow. That's the beauty of daily habits. You don't need a perfect track record. You just need a steady intention. So if there's only one thing you take from all of this, let it be this: the first voice you hear in the morning should be your own. Not a notification, not a problem, yours. A voice that says, I'm here, I'm ready, I've got this. Because how you begin your day shapes your whole life. Let me ask you something. If your closest friend came to you overwhelmed, full of self-doubt, unsure of every decision, what would you say to her? You'd probably tell her to breathe. You'd remind her who she is. You'd speak life into her. Now think about how you talk to yourself when you're in that same space. Is it the same voice, or is it meaner, colder, maybe even cruel? Most of us talk to ourselves in ways we would never talk to someone we love. We call ourselves names in our heads. We replay our mistakes like they define us. We ignore our progress and zoom in on our flaws, and we do it without even noticing how much it hurts us. But here's what's real. The most powerful voice in your life isn't anyone else's, it's your own. That voice either lifts you up or pulls you down. You could have a supportive partner, amazing friends, even a boss who cheers you on. But if your inner voice is toxic, none of it stays. It's like trying to fill a cup with holes. You don't hold on to any encouragement because deep down, You've convinced yourself not to believe it. That's why talking to yourself with respect isn't just some feel-good advice, it's the foundation. It's part of your identity. Respect doesn't mean pretending. It means being honest in a way that builds you up, not tears you down. Instead of saying, I'm such a failure, try, that didn't go how I wanted, but I'm learning. Instead of, I always mess things up, try, this is tough, but I'm getting stronger. You don't have to be fake. You just have to be faithful to yourself. Remember, your brain hears everything you say. Every thought is a seed. If you keep planting, I'm not good enough, don't be surprised when insecurity grows. If you keep planting, I can't handle this, fear will take root. But if you plant truth, even in tiny, awkward doses, eventually something steady will grow, something strong, a mindset that doesn't fall apart every time life gets messy. This is especially important for women, because the world already shows you a mirror filled with judgment. You're told to be gentle, but not too soft, ambitious, but not too much, confident, but not threatening. It's exhausting. So if the world is already trying to shrink you, the last thing you need is to shrink yourself too. Your mind should feel like a safe place, not a war zone. I know it takes time to shift that inner voice. You've been speaking to yourself a certain way for years, maybe most of your life. But here's the good news. It's just a habit. And habits can be changed. You start by paying attention. Catch yourself in the moment. When that mean voice shows up, pause. Breathe. Reword it, not perfectly, but consistently. Let me say this loud and clear. Talking to yourself with kindness doesn't mean ignoring your mistakes. It means holding yourself accountable with love, not punishment. You correct yourself like you'd correct someone you care about, with gentleness, because lasting change doesn't come from shame, it comes from grace. Every day, the way you talk to yourself shapes who you believe you are. That voice, whether kind or cruel, is creating your self-image. So if you want to start showing up stronger on the outside, start by shifting your voice on the inside. Because real confidence begins with how you talk to yourself when no one else is around. And you deserve to hear a voice that sounds like belief. Now, let's talk about movement. Not workouts, not six-packs, not chasing some ideal body. I mean, simply moving your body each day, even when you don't feel like it. Not for how it makes you look, but for how it makes you feel. Because the truth is, movement isn't just physical. It's emotional, mental, even spiritual. It's not about going to the gym at 5 a.m. every day or running marathons. It's about choosing to keep going when everything inside you wants to shut down. It's about showing yourself through one small motion that you're still here and you still have a say in how today goes. You don't need motivation to move. That's the myth. People think motivation comes first. It doesn't. Movement does. You take a 5-minute walk and suddenly your head starts to clear. You stretch your arms and you feel stress leave your body. That's not just exercise. That's self-respect. So when I say move daily, I don't mean become a fitness expert. I mean build the habit of checking in with your body and asking, what do you need right now? And actually listening. Maybe it's a short walk. Maybe it's dancing to a song in your kitchen. Maybe it's lying on the floor and stretching because you've been stiff all day. It doesn't have to be fancy, loud, or impressive. It just has to be real. And I know there are days when you just don't want to. When your body feels heavy and your heart even heavier. That's when it matters most. Because when your body moves, your mind follows. Movement helps shake things loose. It gets you unstuck. Some of the biggest breakthroughs in my life didn't come from talking or journaling. They came during a walk, in silence, in motion. Women carry so much emotionally, mentally, physically. We carry stress in our shoulders, worry in our stomachs, tightness in our jaws. We don't always get the chance to put those weights down, but movement gives us a way to shift them, to breathe through them, to slowly let some of it go. And let's be honest, we live in a world that labels rest as laziness and movement as punishment. No wonder so many of us feel disconnected from our own bodies. But I want you to really hear this. Your body is not your enemy. It's not some project to fix. It's your partner. It wants to support you, not fight against you. And moving every day is one way to rebuild that connection. It's how you quietly say, I see you. I'm not leaving you behind today. And the beautiful part is, you don't need fancy tools. You don't need a program. You don't even need a target. You just need to move gently, regularly, with kindness, not to change yourself, but to nourish yourself. Because once you start moving each day, even in small ways, your whole energy begins to shift, your posture lifts, you start dragging yourself through the day, and you start walking with more purpose. You begin to feel more present, more awake, more patient, not only with others, but with yourself. It doesn't need to be intense to make a difference. What truly matters is the message you're sending to your body and nervous system. We're not stuck. We're not frozen. We're still moving. Even if it's slow, even if it's only for a few moments. Some days you'll move with strength, other days you'll move through struggle. Both are meaningful. Both are brave. Because the goal was never to be perfect. The goal is to keep showing up. And over time, those tiny repeated actions start to add up, not just in your body, but in your mindset. You begin to trust yourself again. You begin to feel stronger, more steady, more alive. So even on the days when it feels hard, especially on those days, move softly and with intention. Because progress is still progress, even if it's just one gentle step. And sometimes that one small step is all it takes to shift the energy of your whole day. Let's talk about something so many of us have trouble with, saying no. Not just saying the word, but standing firm and protecting our time, our energy, and our peace. Because each time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And many times that something else is your own well-being. We live in a culture that praises overworking and being constantly available, especially for women. Say yes, be helpful, always be reachable, do everything for everyone. But let me ask you something. How often have you said yes and then immediately felt that weight settle on your chest, that pressure in your heart whispering, I should have said no? That isn't just discomfort. That's your inner voice raising a red flag. That's your boundary trying to speak. Every yes is a silent agreement. And if you're not paying attention, you'll end up agreeing to things that slowly pull you away from what really matters. Your purpose, your priorities, your peace. It begins with something small. An extra task you didn't have space for, a favor you didn't want to give, a gathering you didn't feel up for, and then it snowballs. You start wondering why you feel drained, irritated, or even invisible. It's not always the big moments that wear us down. Sometimes it's all the little things we kept saying yes to when our whole soul was saying no. Saying no doesn't mean you're cold. It means you're aware of your limits, aware of your energy, aware of what you need. Saying no isn't rejection, it's redirection. It's saying, that's not for me right now, or I can't take that on, or even just, no thank you, no reasons required, no guilt needed. You don't owe constant access to everyone. Just because you're capable of doing something doesn't mean you should. Just because someone asks kindly doesn't mean it's meant for you. We need to stop mixing up guilt with growth. Growth doesn't mean saying yes to every request. Growth is about learning which yeses are worth it. And no, this isn't about becoming distant or unkind. In fact, learning how to say no with grace is one of the kindest, most honest things you can do for yourself and others. When your no is clear, your truth is clear. You're not stretching yourself too thin. You're not showing up half-hearted. You're not building quiet resentment. You're choosing honesty over habit. And that's real integrity. You don't need a list of excuses. You don't need to convince anyone that your boundary matters. Your peace is enough. Your values are enough. If you don't protect your yes, no one else will. That's your responsibility. Sometimes the hardest people to say no to are the ones closest to us. Our family, our longtime friends, people who genuinely care but don't understand our bandwidth. In those moments, it's tempting to shrink yourself, to give in, to make it easier for them, even if it costs you. But that's the moment where your strength shows up. You pause, you breathe, you ask yourself, if I say yes to this, what part of me am I saying no to? That question alone can change everything because now your yes carries meaning. It's no longer automatic, it's intentional, it's aligned with your truth. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about protecting the space you need to stay whole. You get to decide what enters your world and what doesn't. And when you protect your yes, your life becomes more peaceful, more focused, more meaningful. You begin to show up fully, not as a scattered version of yourself, but as someone present and strong. It's okay to let people down. You're not supposed to meet everyone's expectations. What's not okay is constantly letting yourself down just to keep others comfortable. That's not being kind. That's ignoring your own needs. So give yourself permission to pause before answering. Use the pause. You don't have to give an answer right away. You can say, let me think about it, or I'll get back to you. You'd be surprised at the power that lives in just a few mindful seconds. And here's the most beautiful part. Once you start protecting your no, your yes becomes sacred. People feel the truth in it because it's not coming from pressure. It's coming from purpose. So protect it, guard it like the rare gift it is. Because every no to what drains you becomes a yes to what fills you back up. Let me remind you, your mind is your engine. It drives how you speak, how you react, what you believe, what you accept. And if you don't take time to reset it, it will run on old thoughts, old habits, and old fears. You wouldn't leave your phone running all day without charging it, right? Same goes for your mind. It needs a reset every single day, not just once in a while, not only when you feel like breaking down, every day. We carry so much inside, unspoken conversations, thoughts that won't stop circling, pressure we never mention. There's always something trying to fill your mind, and most of it isn't peaceful. That's why if you don't clear it out, that noise becomes your new normal, and that noise steals your focus, your ideas, your calm. A daily mind reset doesn't need to be some big spiritual event. You don't need candles or a perfect setup. You just need a few real moments of honesty with yourself. That's it. It could be 5 minutes of silence before going into work. It could be writing a note that says, here's how I feel, and here's what I choose instead. It could be a breath, a thought, a prayer. The point is to stop the outside noise long enough to hear what's happening inside. Most of our thinking happens on autopilot. And autopilot is rarely peaceful. It's full of worry, of comparisons, of repeating mistakes or predicting problems. But when you take even a short moment to reset, you stop that cycle. You interrupt the pattern. You say, no, not today. Today I choose how I think. Today I lead my thoughts, not the other way around. You don't need a breakdown to begin. You just need commitment. Because peace is not a personality, it's a habit. And those calm, grounded people you admire, they're not just lucky. They're consistent. They've learned to pause before reacting, breathe before jumping, center themselves before making decisions. That's not a miracle. That's practice. And some days it may feel like nothing's working. You'll sit in stillness and still feel your thoughts race. You'll write and feel no shift. That's okay. You're not trying to fix everything in one go. You're learning how to meet yourself every day. And over time, your nervous system learns to trust you again. Your body softens. Your thoughts don't hold you hostage. That's the quiet power of showing up daily. This is especially vital for women. You are often expected to carry emotions, yours and others. You're carrying pressures from home, from work, from relationships, and trying to stay strong through it all. That's a lot to hold. So those few minutes to pause, to let go, to breathe, they're not extra, they're essential, they're powerful. Some days that reset may look like writing it all out. Other times it may just be closing your eyes and saying, I let go of what's not mine. And sometimes it's nothing at all, just breathing in silence.